What's up, guys? Welcome. Glad you could be here today. We're going to take a quick look, it'll be a little shorter, reaction slash review of Madfinger Games Gray Zone, which should be coming out this year at some point. They've done a few pre-alpha releases, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. This is purely my perspective. I unfortunately haven't had the option to play test like some of the larger, more popular content creators have. So I'm basically going to compile all of their reviews into what I think it interprets into. So take it with a grain of salt. This is purely my perspective. This is coming from approximately about 1,000 hours of DayZ gameplay, and I think I'm in the almost a 3,000 hour mark for Escape from Tarkov. So I do have some experience with these type of shooters. By no means am I the pro, the Chad, the Mad Chads, but yeah, this will be interesting to see. So we're gonna start off. We'll look at the trailer, just let it play through, and then we'll circle back. All right, guys, let's check it out.
Seconds to touchdown. We're at the AO. Get ready.
Alright, so now let's take a look at the trailer for the game. This is their official pre-alpha release trailer, and let's have a look and see. We'll just kind of slow it down and back up as we go. If this is essentially like a third-person view of what the game looks like, I think that looks phenomenal right there. Everything looks good.
5 seconds to touchdown.
Let's take a look here. The models of these weapons look decent enough. You could see how the ACOG has the actual illumination bands there. Nice reflection off of it. Helmet looks good. Eyewear looks good. But the foliage, look at this foliage. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to go up to these mountains by any chance, or if these are the boundaries, but just in general, I mean, look at the terrain. I think that looks really sharp. Really sharp.
We're at the AO.
There's the dust we were talking about. Or that we will be talking about. Look at the dust. That's from the helicopter. Okay, going through. Alright, so let's take a look here real quick. Beautiful animation models there. The crouching looks good on this guy. Scoped up. Covering. Again, just the textures look great. But the animation for this reload looks awesome as well. Slow walking, going through here. Alright, so this is a big thing here. Let's look at this inventory system real quick. For those who play Escape from Tarkov, this looks pretty familiar, albeit a more rudimentary one. You got your bottles of water, MREs, bandages. Cat tourniquet actually has some usages on it, not just the one-timer. Sur kit, sounds familiar? Surf 12, anybody? CMS, etc. Do you get a knife? Do you get this? I don't see... So one thing we don't see here is, like in Tarkov, there's armor values on these items. Now, obviously, you're not going to have any armor in there, but what's the armor value on these? I'm curious. And then we look at blood count. So this is going to be the only way we can kind of tell where we're at with health and stuff. It's going to be, it looks like in this menu. Radiation. intoxication. Interesting. Weight, hydration, energy. All of the pretty basic stuff. But that's kind of neat. We have like a unit of blood versus you have X amount of hit points. So that'll be an interesting mechanic to see as it plays out. Keep going here. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So this is one thing I do like. This is scoped in. Look at how much peripheral we're getting with this. You could see a very wide angle, and this doesn't adhere to a screen overtaking. That looks really sharp. I like that. Same thing here. You do have peripherals. Now, this one's a little clunky, but you still have a good amount of left and right peripheral, which is nice. You know, targeting this guy, scope down, you'd be able to see somebody coming out around this corner. You wouldn't be blinded by like an eye relief. So that's really good. I like that. Applying our cat tourniquet, some pain meds, drinking, eating. What we got there? What was that? Oh, come on. Let's see. What's the meal of the day? Spiral noodles. Maybe it's chili mac. I don't know. All right. Now, if this is... If you guys are familiar with, remember, like Arma 3, like the Zeus mod, you can kind of see the overview. If this is our overview of a good portion of the map, again, I don't know the full size. If you guys know the full size of the map, let me know in the comments, but I'm not sure what to compare it to. But in general, this is a pretty solid playground, we'll call it. I mean, you got the typical rice paddies of Southeast Asia going on here, like everywhere. Your town. And it looks sharp. From the sky, it looks sharp. I mean, look at the reflection, the lighting off of this section down here. Shadows that seem to just kind of go all accordingly in the right directions from, you know, you can kind of tell where the sun would be, right? It's coming down. Yeah, I mean, you can see the shadows. It's a nice job. The lighting's looking nice. Beautiful reload animation. Okay. I mean, what do you guys think? I think for a pre-alpha kind of trailer, I think it looks great. It's a very nice job. I mean, there's obviously some gameplay and mechanical issues that we're going to kind of touch base on, but all in all, I think it looks good. Let's move on. All right, guys, so what is Grayzone? And this is going to be Steam's verbatim. Grayzone is an immersive tactical first-person shooter with a maximum focus on realism. You play as a PMC and have to navigate a vast open world, either alone or in a squad. You will face off against AI-controlled enemies and even human players. Madfinger Games drops you into a setting meticulously designed to match Southeast Asia. Now, this aspect has been addressed by other streamers and content creators. Then I encourage you to guys check out their sneak peeks, their gameplays, to go check it out for yourselves if you have the time. But it has been described that this game is a nice mix of Escape from Tarkov, DayZ, and Ghost Recon into a cocktail of potential fun. That's kind of a play on words there, but it's accurate to what the game appears to be so far. The servers are boasting a 48 player count, which is kind of nice. We can get potentially 47 other people to play with us. With 3 teams, 16 on each, so 16 on 16 on 16. And the tasks look like you're going to have to go grab items. There's a potential where there may be base raiding or some other stuff, but that's all up in the air. So we're going to check that out as time goes on. You've got the ability either to hoof it in by foot, or you can use this AI-controlled helicopter that they've implemented. Playtesters are also praising the game's seamless loading screen, which, you know, is non-existent. So that's the best part. Once you load in, you're in. It's almost got that Arma feel where, you know, map's loaded, go play, go have fun. You don't have to worry about anything. So before we get into my essential opinions, I want to get into my interpretations of what I think the overall conclusions amongst the various large streamers who have playtested and gave their reviews about this game is. It appears that the creators who were given access to the game and afforded the ability to give their own honest opinions were not hindered by Madfinger. So props to them. They get a shout out. You know, it's nice to have a raw, authentic, and true feedback about about your product, and not to handcuff these creators from giving their honest opinions. So key takeaway wise, everybody seems to love the graphics, and I'll piggyback on that. I do love them as well. It seems everybody's thrilled about the quality that Unreal Engine 5 is producing, and this dev team has been able to create some great products. You know, between the foliage, the water, the lighting, everything, it looks good. Performance-wise, and I want to caveat this, most of these creators have super high-end rigs, and us plebs, we just don't. Every one of them had a performance issue somewhere, whether it was an FPS drop or a stutter or freeze, whatever. Yeah, they all experienced something somewhere that was a performance issue. And I also want to kind of caveat that by saying this is also a pre-alpha, playthrough. So hopefully optimization can fix that. The gunplay had some mixed reviews. Some really enjoyed the way it was, and others were kind of like, not sure what's going on here. The guns, the gunplay itself, I mean, the animations looked good, but there was some issues that these guys had, whether it was, rounds not landing correctly or scopes being too small or whatever. Everybody had a little mixed review on it. So, I'll give you my opinion closer to the end on what I think. But sound-wise, everybody had something bad to say about the sound. Not so much as game-breaking, but it just felt lackluster. And, again, I'll give you my opinion on that when we get to the end of this. And the last consensus that I got from the creators that I kind of want to touch base on is the AI. And this is easily one of the, if not the one, major concern that creators had. It was expressed that AI was going to adapt to the firefight, whether it was to push you or you push them and they retreat. It's just they were supposed to be somewhat adaptive and have a little bit of a challenge to it. This didn't seem like it was a huge thing. It was almost like a sandstorm where they just stand there potentially and they take the round and, let me slowly walk to the left, let me slowly walk to the right. Like there wasn't a whole lot of urgency in their actions. So, my final thoughts on that is pre-alpha. Let's see what happens. I'll hold my breath. But I want to give you guys my final thoughts. These are kind of my perspectives. First off, I just want to say that, I do enjoy the more tactical shooters and require, a graceful approach of playing, whether it's an Arma 3, Escape from Tarkov, and the like. This game seems to fall into that category. The lack of running around at 20 miles an hour, hip firing a 7.62 fully automatic rifle while bunny hopping and dolphin diving really is a feature that, not something I'm a fan of. I like these little slow-paced, more tactical, let you have to use your brain instead of just a monkey pushing a button type of deal. I enjoy the time as well. I don't like 5-minute rounds. The ability to sink 20, 30, 40, up to an hour into a raid or a play is good. That's what we want when we're hanging out with our boys and having a good time. This is something we want to enjoy. And there's a progression system that looks like, so that's, an added bonus. I've got high hopes for that. So with that kind of little intro onto my first off opinions, let's go. I just want to touch base on 3 things. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I want to touch on the graphics first. Hands down, one of the most beautiful things I've seen in a trailer and in pre-alpha gameplay. Unreal Engine 5, with their ability for the lighting, has improved games so much, and these devs at Madfinger have done just an awesome job doing it. There was a creator who showcased, foliage. For example, remember in the games, Battlefield, you're laying, 500 meters away from an enemy, and you lay down in the grass, and guess what? That grass doesn't render on his client side. Well, it looks like Madfinger has kind of found a solution to that. Grass is rendering in at 500 to 700 meters, it looks like. And because of the density of the jungle itself, having these long range 1,000-meter sniper shots, it's not going to be something that we see a lot of, I don't believe. But here's the downside of that. It has a cost. This beauty has a cost. And us poors who may not have GeForce 1000s and the i100 processors, I'm exaggerating obviously, may have some struggling issues with this. But let's just hopefully, Madfinger can iron this out and they can optimize it and not get bottlenecked once we get 48 additional players in here wreaking havoc. Second thing I want to touch on is some gameplay mechanics. I want to speak on the gunplay, helicopter insertion, extracts, AI, and the health system. As these mechanics are going to be what makes or breaks this game, in my opinion. The map looks like a very large, from what we can see from creators. I don't know the full size, but I don't know if it's as big as an Arma map or what, but it's a good sized. The helicopter insertion and extraction will make a huge difference in this aspect. If we can, we got our corner where we spawn and we need to get to the center of the map. That's our ability to do that, so we don't have to hoof it for 10, 15 minutes DayZ style. That's great. I'm not too concerned. The mechanics for this all look good enough for me at this point, and hopefully they improve as time goes on. The gunplay, however, has some pluses and minuses, in my opinion. I like the smaller gun model and the eye relief that we get, and some of the weapons actually intrigue me on this. I look forward to a more realistic sight picture, as none of us who have ever handled firearms in the real world run with it shouldered 100% of the time, and we can only push our heads forward so far when aiming down sights. The peripheral picture is amazing, and I think it will make for more dynamic fights, as we don't have the gun taking up 50 to 75% of our screens. Slight exaggeration. But if you've ever played Tarkov, you get an MDAR, with a voodoo scope and a flashlight and all these accessories, and 3/4 of your monitor's taken up by this thing. And then when you scope in, you have no peripherals. We did see a little bit of the health system. It looks like it may emulate Escape from Tarkov with a non-numerical style health bar, which I like, and a variety of injuries that require different treatment methods to deal with. That looks awesome. This mechanic can be a chore, but I think in the game's larger picture, what will make it stand out is the complexity. And it's not overly complex. It's just a few extra things that you got to do, an extra item you got to have. After all, just stabbing yourself in the arm with some weird injector shouldn't automatically fix a broken leg and stop a heavy bleed in your arm. Let's have a little more maintenance to that, and that's good, especially for the guys who want to play this as more of a Milsim type setup. One other key feature, Tarkov, take note, that has me super excited is going to be the ability to take care of your teammates' health issues, albeit a rudimentary version of this is in other games, especially class-based ones that have medics. This mechanic implements a level of immersion that many Milsim players, like I just mentioned, have wanted and are going to enjoy for a long time to come. I hope some of the other games kind of take note of this. People do like playing that medic role. It's fun for them. Let's give them a little more love. In other games, please take note. The other thing, I didn't want to dig too much into this. The AI, to me, from what I've seen so far, I do have some concerns with it, but they look functional to say the least. How elaborate will they become? I don't know. Will we get some laser beamers who can 360 no-scope you from across the map, or just NPCs who run around and stand in one spot and shoot you until you die or they die? I don't know. I want to leave that one open for interpretation. I hope they get a little more programming. That's kind of all I'm going to really say, especially since this game boasts that it wants to be a PvE base with PvP aspects, and failing to get the PvE right would be detrimental and essentially kill this game before it gains any traction. So I hope they fix that before they put it out to us. And lastly, let's talk about the overall scope of the game. The This one thing alone has been unanswered, and the devs have kept it very, shall we say, sterile. The best analogy that I can come up with right now is extraction shooter that gives you some things to do, or so they claim. One creator said it, best in his video, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but basically, what am I doing here? What will keep me coming back, and what will satisfy my gaming session? That's the $1,000,000 question. The devs claim that they have over 100 tests ready to go for players right now, but from what play tests that the content creators were given, what did we see? Go retrieve an item. Is that all we're going to have? This will get pretty old real quick. This is an answer at this time that we just don't have, and frankly, it does concern me as a consumer. The map size and the ability to have 48 players in a server does give it some very interesting and exciting potential, and I am thinking this coming from an Arma 3 King of the Hill standpoint, without excessive or oppressive mechanics, or maybe having the map broken up into sectors that give benefits or rewards for holding, that have event timers to take over or raid. That would be a good direction to go, but without something more than go pick up X and extract, I do fear for this game. It's a walking around simulator shooting dumb bots. That's my fear from kind of where we're at. But all in all, I am impressed with some of the basic foundational mechanics that Madfinger has come up with and is producing in this project. They're still early in their development process, so comparing this to other games that are out or claiming that it will kill Tarkov or it'll kill DayZ or kill Squad is not a fair assessment. I think Grayzone just wants to be that. I think they just want to be Grayzone, its own entity that utilizes some mechanics that seem to have worked well for other games. And that's okay in my opinion. I just hope they fix some of the core issues for replayability and longevity. I think we're going to keep an eye on this one, though. And honestly, I look forward to updates in its development. So, with that, that's kind of the review that I've got for that. But I definitely want to hear what you guys think. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about Grayzone. Let me know if you're looking forward to it, if you're just going to stick to your basics that you've already played 100 times over and you really enjoy, or what. I'm curious. I want to see what the community thinks. I want to see what other players think. So, let's see what happens, guys. But with that, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate the time that you guys are putting in, and I look forward to interacting. Till next time, boys and girls, we'll see ya.